is so much bad news to discuss right now that I really don't even know where to begin. I didn't even get all my thoughts collected on paper just yet. I wanted to come at you guys with a raw reaction of this Bills versus Eagles game. Opportunity after opportunity after opportunity squandered by our Buffalo Bills. And at the end of the day, it was too little, too late. And also, this was maybe Josh Allen's worst game that I have seen in a long, long time. Since like rookie deal Josh we're talking about right now. That was just plain bad from 17. That was plain bad from Joe Brady as well. I want to shout out the defense, which we'll talk about in a little bit, for holding the Eagles to 13 points, like 17 total yards in the second half. Excellent stuff from that side of the football. But this offense made me want to throw up. You're watching the Bills Breakdown by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Tyler Smith, and we're going to break down this Bills versus Eagles matchup that really can just be boiled down to one thing. 17 wasn't good enough. And when he's not good enough, this team just won't win. The Bills lost because of Josh Allen today. And that's not something that I think I've said really ever watching this football team. We'll break it down more in a moment. If you're frustrated by the loss, do one thing for me. Go down below, smash that thumbs up icon, like today's video. Voice the frustration down in the comment section as well, because that was embarrassing out of these Buffalo Bills. And it starts and ends with 117. It starts with and ends with Josh. We know this. Week in, week out. Every single day the Bills wake up and go play football, it starts and ends with him. 22 of 35, 262. He did have 2 rushing touchdowns toward the end of the game, but he was bad. He was bad. Missed Brandon Cooks on an awesome, awesome route ran. Had separation down the field. You could argue it would have been a walk-in touchdown. And it was a bad ball placement by Josh. What about the tuck rule in the beginning of this game? You could argue he threw it forward, but guess what? The officials didn't. How about make it more obvious that you threw it forward instead of bringing it back and then losing it and then not running after it either? I'm not going to ask Josh to dive on the football, but Bills turn it over, and it was kicked all the way into Buffalo territory. So the Eagles took over and scored on that opportunity. And the last play of the game, Allen hops over the line for a touchdown. They got to go for 2. We'll talk about why they had to go for 2 in a little bit, but they go for 2. They go to win the game. You play to win the game. And Josh misses Shakir. Back of the end zone, wide open. You just can't have those missteps when you're 17. With the talent that you're surrounded by, because receivers weren't getting open all day. I will give props to one Brandon Cooks here, who absolutely diced this Philly defense a couple of times. I mean, this feels like the best Bills receiving performance all season. You're missing Dalton Kincaid in this game. So, look, the environment wasn't great around Josh. James Cook was okay running the football. Not really, though. Only 3.5 yards a touch for him, honestly. And so he's not surrounded by much great going on. But you still have to overcome it. You are 17. You have to overcome the environment around you. That's the position that Brandon Beane, Sean McDermott, this Bills brain trust has put him in. So he has to be a superhuman. And when he's not, the Bills lose. And I can't believe they almost came back in this game. I cannot believe they had the opportunity to win this game, rip this game from the jaws of defeat on the last play. But Allen backing up. And he was under pressure all game as well. I'll give him that. Backing up off the back foot. He's wide open. I don't care. You're Josh Allen. You can make throws at every angle. You can make throws off every balance point when you're on your feet. You can make every single throw on the football field. You have to make that one. And speaking of Khalil Shakir, I think we can segue here because we all knew Josh was bad today. I'm not going to blame any misfortunes long-term or things that have happening the last few weeks on Josh Allen, even though he hasn't been the most statistically great quarterback in football. Look, this one was on him. We don't say that very often. I know he's pissed about this. I just watched him scream mouth the F word walking off the field. He is not happy about this whatsoever, and he will correct it. That's what I believe with Josh Allen. But Khalil Shakir, nothing against him as the player. I don't think he's the best player in the game. I don't think he's the best wide receiver. There's certainly not a number 1 receiving option in this league. But Joe Brady handcuffs this guy. And I want to talk about Joe Brady in general right now. Yes, he handcuffs Khalil Shakir. He doesn't let him go down the field. Just think about that Rams game a couple of years ago where Josh just puts it in the bucket for Khalil Shakir down the field. Never gets ran on anything like that anymore. But it's not just Khalil Shakir who only gets religiously put on screens or drag routes or quick outs or just check down plays left and right. It's the entire offense that is putrid. Joe Brady, inside the 10-yard line, when the Bills turned it over, Josh ended up being hesitant on that 4th and goal, tried to rush it in, but got stopped short. Those are some of the worst play calls that I've ever seen in my life. James Cook up the gut, right into the teeth of the Philly defense that's been killing you there all day. And Reggie Gilliam wasn't even on the field. As a matter of fact, just one tight end was on the field, Jackson Hawes. It just can't happen. And then, the Bills. Oh my goodness. The possession in the 4th quarter where they go on their own side of the 50, and they ended up getting the hook and ladder and stuff because the only thing that Joe Brady can really do is run gimmick plays. He can't actually call an offense. He has to resort to running gimmicks like hook and ladders on 4th and a prayer. So that happened again. They did it. But leading up to that play, right before the 2-minute warning, dude, he runs a draw play from his own 29-yard line. The Bills are down 7. What are you doing? And then he has the absolute gall to check it down on a screen on 3rd and 10. Joe Brady, you are a loser. Loser. This game is on Josh Allen at the end of the day, but this is something I've been saying pretty much all season long. Joe Brady sucks. Sucks. You can praise him when he runs a hook and ladder. Guess what? That doesn't happen in the first 3.5 quarters. The Bills have scored 15 points in their last 6 quarters. They went into the 4th quarter with 0 in this game. That is on Josh. That is on Joe Brady. That's just the situation at hand at the end of the day. The defense, I'll tell you what, man. The defense was awesome. Saquon Barkley, if you're holding him to this line, yeah, I'm all over that. The first 8 carries were going for 22 yards. He kind of got into a little bit of a rhythm, but they bottled everything up after that. Jalen Hurts, I thought was really good in the first half. Bills were kind of letting him do whatever he wanted. But in the second half, again, the Eagles had 17 yards of offense in the last 30 minutes of the game. You can't lose that game when you're only down 2 scores. You can't. You cannot do it. So shout out to the defense. Absolutely balled out. Shaq Thompson being somebody that jumps out to me. Christian Benford with a couple of nice breakups. And I think along the defensive line, Deion Walker stood out to me as well. Another really solid effort for him today. Greg Rousseau with a couple of QB hits. Nice there. Half a sack for him as well. And then, like I said, Shaq Thompson was really good as well. Joey Bosa didn't really do much in this game from my point of view. He didn't jump off the page to me whatsoever. But the defense as a whole was playing solid in this game, man. Matt Milano, I thought, played really well. He combined for one of those sacks. Let's get to the we'll talk about some injuries in a little bit, but Terrell Bernard went down in this game and did not return. Could be a precaution thing, but it's a calf injury, so you definitely want to be precautious with those. Benford with a couple of nice breakups. Harrison, I thought, had a couple of nice breakups. And you just didn't get killed by this Eagles team on the offensive side of the ball. It boils down to 2 people. Joe Brady and Josh Allen. It's unfortunate. We're going to talk about where the Bills go from here in a moment. But I got to ask you guys, my question of the day. Be honest with me. Can the Bills win the AFC? Can the Bills win the AFC? Why for yes? Very simple. Very simple question. Why for yes and for no? Let me know your thoughts are down in the comments. We'll get to injuries. We'll get to the playoff picture in just a moment. First, though, Josh Allen jerseys. You're going to find sales. You're going to find free shipping. Tons of deals at this link right here. Chatsports.com/Josh Allen. That's chatsports.com/Josh Allen to get yours today. That link is in the comment section and description of today's video. Go down below, click it, and get yourself or a family member or friend a Josh Allen jersey today. Okay, let's talk some injuries here because a couple of people went down for Buffalo that are very, very key, to be honest with you guys. Terrell Bernard goes down in this game with a calf injury, was ruled questionable at the beginning. Then the second half comes around. He was ruled out immediately for those final 30 minutes. It could be a situation where they're just being precautious. He's a guy they pay a lot of money to. He wears the captain icon on his jersey. So you want to have him available as much as possible. But at the same time, I'm a bigger fan of Shaq Thompson and his fit and his production on this Bills defense so far this year. Does suck, though, to lose some more depth. And Terrell Bernard is your technical starter at that linebacker spot. You want to have him available because he's made some big plays in some big spots. Also, something that went under the radar, I think, that could really hurt the Bills here. Ray Davis went down, and he was fully hopping off of the field onto the sideline in that late second half. Ray Davis gave the Bills almost a spark by taking the kick return out to the 40-yard line. He's been really, really good in the special teams department, and because of that, the Bills have been involving him more in the in-between game, in the running game, and he's been making the most of those opportunities as well. Had a catch for 12 yards in this game, but with him going down, that's a key special teams element lost for this Bills team. Hopefully, it's not something too bad, but definitely something that I am wary of at this point. Spencer Brown, I believe, got dinged up as well. I think it was like a jab to the Adam's apple, which never feels good, but he had to miss a bunch of plays in the game from that. Ryan Vandermark came back in. And then finally, Josh, is he hurt? He was definitely wincing a couple of times in this game. He was definitely a little hobbled getting up. I mean, he was sacked 5 times. This is now 40 sacked times for Josh Allen this season. That's the most in his career. And that's not a good thing. Sometimes a lot of those are coverage sacks too, I'll tell you what. But today, in this game, some guys got blown up. Jalen Carter blew up Osiris Torrance on a straight rush. That's what happens. This Bills' offensive line plays well in unison, but when they all have to do individual assignments, things can slip. Things can crack a little bit. And Philly's got straight bucket getters on their defensive line who can just go and win one-on-one matchups. So that poses trouble for this Bills offensive line. Same thing happened with the Texans a couple of weeks ago. So monitoring Josh, he can't feel good right now, but this is tough, man. This is tough because now the Bills are in a really, really weird spot in this AFC playoff picture. They're in the 7th seed. They have clinched. The AFC North will come down to Baltimore and Pittsburgh next week, but it doesn't matter. The Bills aren't going to be the 5 seed anymore. They're going to be playing at New England or at Jacksonville. It doesn't look like they're going to be even the 6th seed at this point. 11-5 with the Chargers. The Chargers, they don't have anything to play for next week, I don't believe, with the Broncos winning that division. They're going to probably be the number 1 overall seed. The Bills are in a weird spot now. This stinks. And I don't know what we do about this. I think the Bills can go on the road and beat Jacksonville. I know the Bills can go on the road and beat New England. We saw it. But it's an uphill battle at this point, folks. A lot of bad news for the Buffalo Bills at this juncture. And I'm just not really all that happy about it, to be frank with you guys. That will do it for today's show. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Bills content does not stop here. We're going to be live again next week for Bills versus Jets. It's just a frustrating game, man. And it comes at a point in the season where I'm kind of losing hope that this offense will be able to generate enough production to make a deep playoff run. And that's what's troubling the most for me. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you guys next video tomorrow morning. And as always, let's go, Buffalo.